They affect NATO's core tasks in many ways. Crisis management, for example, which is a major task of NATO, will have to happen under perhaps even more difficult circumstances in terms of weather, in terms of terrain.
Our militaries need to be able to undertake greater humanitarian assistance and natural disaster response missions because we're seeing more people put at risk from those storms.
NATO can be prepared to use its military capabilities to lend a hand. Why? Because often the military, with their logistics, their transport aircraft, can get there faster than anybody else.
In den meisten Fällen von natürlichen Desaster haben wir Fluten, Überflutungen. Das Wasser ist dreckig, die Opfer können das Wasser nicht trinken, sie werden krank. Wenn wir jetzt energieeffiziente Trinkwasseraufbereitungsanlagen bauen, die das Militär bringen kann, dann sind die robust, dann sind die soldier-proofed, dann arbeiten die tatsächlich mit Photovoltaik-Panels und damit hilft es den Opfern viel besser als ein großes militärisches Gerät, was irgendwo weit weg aufgestellt wird und was ganz viel Elektrizität braucht.
We are trying to make sure, for example, that certain camps can be deployed in such a way that they use less and less diesel fuel, that we use renewables, that we use solar, wind. We use modern computer technology to get the optimal distribution of power within a camp so that the overall ecological footprint is much, much lower.
An alliance like NATO and other militaries also around the world have very important roles to play since they are premier planning organizations. And one of the best ways we will combat climate change is to make our societies in all its dimensions more resilient to those effects.
Since the 1970s, NATO has an environmental policy for military operations. In other words, if you go to a certain region and you put up a camp, let's say, then you have to follow very strict environmental standards because the military should not be seen as a polluter. NATO is not in the business of conducting climate policies. However, the very fact that we're looking at this issue for quite a long time and the very fact that we look at it from various dimensions shows that NATO is prepared to defend its allies under whatever conditions.